All right. Hello guys, today we are doing a video. We are trying to finish our Deadpool Marvel Rivals backpack and swords. Now these I had made already and I did not make a video on, and I was making some more for a commission, so I figured I should make a video on how I did all of that. But yeah, those sit in the pack like that. There is Velcro on the back that attaches it to the suit that I have now. But for the commissions, we're gonna alter how it does it a little bit to be a little bit better, a little more manageable. But they are pretty easy to take apart. And then, yeah. So I'm gonna go through the process of how I made some of this stuff. So the symbol is 3D printed here. All right, you can kind of see up close. You get those layer lines, but the 3D printed back symbol off of a shop on Etsy. I think it's Robin's Prop Shop. I can add a link in the description. And then the back plate, you might recognize that as Deadpool's from the first 2 movies that he has. Those are some slots in there that go all the way through so that you can have the swords in there. I sized them properly for these because it's actually a little bit small, because the usually his blades are pretty thin. So they're trying to like slide in a lot squatter there. But I resized it so that it would fit with everything here. And then I'm going to alter the model a little bit so that it can have a plate that'll sandwich between this and the vest. So it'll be this, the vest, plate, and then they'll sandwich together. So this will be permanently attached, and I'll just hold on to there like that. And then you can just slot the swords in there. But today we are making another set of swords, and probably not another one of these yet. Remember our 3D printed pieces for the sword right here? So how it works is there is a wooden dowel, that's longer than I thought, that goes through the whole sword that we try to fit through all the little holes there that go all the way through the sword, and that end up running through the whole sword length like this. So it gives it a little bit of weight too, which is kind of cool. Not much, because they are still 3D printed, which makes them maybe a little fragile, but this really helps the structural integrity of them. So it's always good to get a tube in there. Before you put it all the way through, I would sand them down. I have either, you have your usual sandpaper, and then just sanding it down so that when you go to slot them through, it doesn't get caught on any of the bushings or anything. Almost got that. And then using glue as well will really help to get it to slide a little easier, because otherwise it'll just be the plastic against the wood, and there's so many spots where it can just like stop, that it's always really good to get that kind of a lubricant in there so that it goes all the way through right. All right, so now that it's all sanded, you're just gonna slot it down through the center right here. And hopefully it goes through easy. Oh, and it's stuck. Well, it went through pretty easily for a couple inches, and then, oh, there it goes. It's nice to be able to do it by hand if you have to. I have a mallet as well that I'm going to use, but only if I have to, because I don't really want to mess up the print or the wooden dowel here. See if I can get it to go. Okay, got a little bit further. You got it peeking out now. So we just need to get it the whole length of that now, and then we'll be all right. So that can happen with wooden dowels. That's why a lot of people do the acrylic ones instead, but I think the wooden dowels they're cheaper and a little easier to use. So that's why I tend to use them. But even if they break, what you can do is just slot them back out. So I'm going to push it back through. All right, we got the dowel back out. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to use what was left of this one, and then that'll be a lot easier to slot into the rest of that one like this. So I can go in very easily like that now, and then make sure those all line up perfectly like that, because otherwise they can offset. So I cut it at a bit of a diagonal so that it would more easily go into each other. And then we have the next piece. We do the same thing. We're just going to slot that in too. There we go. And then we have the tip of the sword that is going to go on that piece right there. Boom. So now that we have the full sword assembled, it was printed in 4 different pieces. So on the Bamboo Lab P1S or P2S, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's pretty solid. Doesn't stick around too much. You can swing it pretty good, and even stays together pretty well without gluing it together. But what we're going to use to glue it together is we're going to use some E6000. Now this one's been used quite a bit, and I usually recommend for everything. So I'm going to glue it on the in-between pieces, so anytime there's a segment, those are the only spots where there's actual like a separation in the print. These parts are just different filaments because I ran out of filament halfway through printing. So then it just it switched over here. So now that these two are complete, the next steps will be sanding, smoothing, painting, priming to get looking like these bad boys right here. Alright, so now we're going to get that glue in between these pieces here. Just making sure that we spread it as much as we can throughout the whole piece. What I tend to do too is I'll get a good first layer of glue in there, and then use a brush or a popsicle stick to kind of brush it around so that you can get it into all the cracks and crevices and everywhere. Because this E6000 will hold. After 2 days, I think it takes to cure completely. But after those 2 days, it holds really good. So that's why I recommend it usually. Now we're going to use some clamps just to clamp things down around here. Just all the little spots right here. Make sure everything lines up. Stays strongly pushed together because we don't want it separating. That's going to be really tough to fix later on. We'd have to take it apart and put it back together again. Another thing I use the frog tape, especially in spots like this where it's like very key that it holds together, to just tape all the way around it, because it makes it really easy to hold it in place because it's such a strong anchor point for the tape especially, so that when you get a length of tape right here, you can just get it all the way around the hood right there. So just one on one side and then all the way around to the other side, and then that's going to hold it real strong. That'll be a good anchor point for it to not really move much at all. Now we're just going to glue this part, and then this part is the other seam right there. Alright, so now that we have all those pieces lined up, now what we're going to do is we're going to use that same frog tape to just hold stuff in place. So just to make sure that the blade does not separate from each other, because you see it's already kind of doing it right there, where it's not lining up. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that that does stay lined up. We're going to make it nice and lined up, tape it together. That should be enough to hold it in place, so that when it dries, we can do our sanding and filling and it'll look as good as possible without having to fix any of the curves that it would make if it was not lined up. Sweet. Alright, now that we got that all lined up, we just wait for that to dry. So it's going to be probably the next day until we can work on the next part of it, which is going to be sanding, smoothing, and then after that painting the whole sword. But we'll check back in tomorrow and see how they look. So I got kind of in the zone of working on it, so I skipped a few steps. But here we have the sanded, smoothed, and painted, at least the base paint layer for the Deadpool sword. Now what we're going to do is we're going to paint this silver with our Deco Art Metallics silver. We're going to use this red, which is a satin apple red, and then we're going to use this ivory white for some parts as well. And then lastly we have the gold. This is flexible armor metallic. That'll be for the bottom. The handle right here is red, and then the eyes on the sword over there are red. The groove on the inside of this sword is red as well. That goes all the way up and down. This I made removable, so I kind of broke it off so that I can slot that in and make it easier to get in there, because it does go all the way down and across, and this kind of in the way otherwise. So now that that's out of the way, we can kind of do something like that, so that it still has that look. And then we're going to paint that silver, and then yeah, this 2-in-1 auto primer. So after sanding it down, just sprayed it with that. Most of the pieces lined up pretty well, so it's works out pretty good. For Marvel Rivals Deadpool, painted that with that same red, painted the white with that white I was talking about before, and then glued this on with E6000, and then the swords can slot in there. So the idea with this one is that when you use the swords here, you should be able to draw them from the back. The thing here stops them from going too much further so that you can still draw them, and then it can still be used, hopefully without people helping put stuff in and out, but that always is the case where you need some help every now and then. So that is the idea with this one. So it took a little while, but we have this sword now painted. We have the red line in the center, the silver brush on there, the eyes are red there, and on the bottom, got the handles red, and then we got the pommel is gold. So now that this is all painted and dried, we can now use this as a basis for our other sword that we're going to make, which has not yet been painted. And we're going to do both of them and then see how they fit with the harness. Here's how they look like finished with the sword on the back plate. So they're pretty easy to slide out and pretty easy to slot in as well. Now I do need to get a clear coat on these and make sure that they stay fitted in. So to do that, I'm going to put some millimeter foam in there and make sure that they stay in the spots that I want them to. Otherwise, we can try them on with the suit, and hopefully that'll end up looking pretty good. Now for the commission I'm doing it a little bit differently. I wanted it to be directly attached to the back of the jacket. So this is how kind of the jacket is looking for the moment. I have yet to put on the other shoulder pad piece yet, and then this needs to get sewn onto the armor piece right there. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to match the back plate with the center of the back seam so that we can make sure everything is, you know, centered. And then what we're going to do is we're going to find the plate here like that, and then we're going to grab our straps. We have these two, we have these length of nylon strap that we're going to make sure we have plenty to go over the shoulder a little bit to hold the strap there, and then it's going to stream across so that we have extra right here. So that looks to me like about that much of it will need to go there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to line everything up and then screw it all together with a drill so that we can get everything all perfecto. Sandwich. Make sure everything's long enough still. There we go. All right, line everything up. And now we get to the fun part. Screw in. Now that went all the way through. Let's double check with this. Make sure it did not go through any of our sword holes. It did. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually back it out. We're going to use a shorter screw with the same thickness because I have those. And that'll hopefully help us hold things together. Alright. We'll manage to find a shorter screw. This should be plenty of the difference to make sure that it does not go all the way into the sword opening so that we can get that all set up fine. Alright, success. Great success. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get a few more of those and we're going to drill them all in and make sure that we are strong. Okay, now we can take a look at it. Make sure our symbol is all nice and complete. Now the idea with it is that it will go on like this. We'll go over. There's our symbol on the back, all nice and pretty. And then we have our straps on the inside right here. That can hold up the, let's get the strap. We get our straps that actually hold up the pack. And then we have our pack on the back right there so that we can do all that. All right, after like 3 days of working on this, it's finally done. But the assembly here looks like that, and then we have the swords done here like this. Now these are pretty cool because, as you'll see here shortly, there's some straps on the inside where you actually hold onto the back harness piece, and then the jacket itself just kind of sits around it and covers all that, so you don't have to see all that nastiness. Flip this inside out. There it goes. Ends up looking something like this. Pretty good, pretty good. You get the back piece. Untuck that. Untuck that. There we go. So you got the back, the swords and everything. Oh, not yet. And we have the swords here. It should be pretty easy to get in. Oh, that one's easy. There it goes. All right. So now that's the jacket and how it looks with the back piece there. I would try the whole suit on, but that takes too much time. And I've already taken so long trying to finish this video. It's been about like 2 or 3 weeks. So that is it for this one. We got our pouches. We have our little detail buckles. All said and done. And our cool little backpack pouch. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys want to see more processing videos like this, I'm going to try to do more. But comment, like, share, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.